Hi, I'm Stuart. Welcome to my YouTube channel, or welcome back. Thanks for viewing my video. In this video, I give my reading update for the week of 7/5/2026 through 7/11/2026. I completed one book, so I talk briefly about that book. I read part of another book, so I talk briefly about that book. I talk about my reading plans for the near future. I talk about the videos I released. I talk about a crochet project I'm working on. I talk about the video games I played. I talk about the music I listened to. And I talk about some other things going on in my life too. The book I completed was Meet Cute by Meryl Wilsner. This is a sapphic soccer romance, football for most of the world. I thought the rest of the world, but Philip at Dr. Phil Reed's let me know that in Australia they also call it soccer, and it's not that big in Australia either, which was kind of interesting to me. I just assumed outside the US it's the biggest sport, which is probably a dumb assumption, but I kind of thought that. I talked about this in my last video, so I won't say too much here. I'll just say that I really liked it a lot. It was going to be a 4-star, but it's probably going to be a 4.5 because it really came down to it, and the latter part of it, and there was some tension I wasn't expecting, so I liked it a lot. Hopefully I will do a review video for this fairly soon. Just say that I did like it a lot. And the book that I read part of is The Stand by Stephen King. I am about 500 pages in, and it's a very small font. You can probably see how small it is. So it's 500 pages of a very small font. I last read this book when it came out, this complete full version, around 1990. Prior to that, I read the shorter version. And so 500 pages in, I guess, question would be, does it live up to my memories? And my answer would be, in some ways yes, in some ways no. The yes is the plot is very impressive. What happens is a government created disease through a series of, I guess we'll say, mishaps, escapes, and it's very deadly. It kills 99.4% of the people who come in contact with it. And the government tries to suppress knowledge of it, often very brutally. And we're gradually introduced to the characters. Some supposed to be the more on the sides of good, some on the more on the dark side. But it's a really good plot. It's really interesting so far. The King writes very detailed descriptions of the locations and the people, and that's really good. The problem I have, though, the part where it doesn't really meet up with my memories, is that there's a lot of casual racism and sexism, and the sexism drifts into misogyny sometimes too. And what that does to me is that the characters that I'm supposed to be rooting for, causes me to dislike them, or at best be neutral about them. So though it's interesting reading their adventures, I just really don't like many, if any, of the characters. The book did originally come out in '78, and I think this edition came out in 1990, but the 1990 just added parts that were cut out in '78. So the book came out in '78, so it's a while back, but it doesn't change the fact that I'm reading it now. I think that when I read it then, I can't remember specifically about those type of things, so I probably accepted it more than I did now. Hopefully it bothered me, kind of upsets me if it didn't, but it bothers me now. I just don't like the N-word's used a lot. There's just a lot of casual racism, sexism, some misogyny. So that's it doesn't measure up to my memories overall because of that. But I've read close to 500 pages in, I think, 10 days, which for me is a lot of pages read. Like I said, a small font. So overall liking it, but there is some stuff didn't hold up. And although I realized people thought that way then, not everybody did. So that part of it's a problem for me. There are a couple books that I plan to start pretty soon. They are A Clockwork Orange by Anthony Burgess. This is the July read for the I'm With a Band book club, a Fable book club. Moderated by MJ, reading this life at M-J on here. And the second book is Open Throat by Henry Hoke. This is the July read for the Weird Girls, Weirder Fiction book club, moderated by Laurie. So those are books I hope to start fairly soon. I've really been concentrating on The Stand. Despite my misgivings, I've been reading a lot, so I guess that does say overall that I'm enjoying it, but I don't care so much what happens to the characters. I'm just kind of interested in watching the plot unfold. Because they keep doing stuff which I personally find disappointing. Not all of them, but a lot of them. Oh, and I forgot to mention that The Stand is a book I'm reading as part of a group read on the Witchwood Coven Discord, the Discord of Steph at Fallen to Steph. And I am going to start today my next Wooble. It is day 7 from the Wooble's Advent Calendar. I realize it's mid-July and I'm still working on the Wooble's Advent Calendar, but it is what it is. Here is the box, and I will open it right here. It is Riker the Caribou. And I will show my progress following this particular segment. I forgot to say the videos I released this week. I released 4 videos. They were my review of Julie Chan is Dead by Leanne Zhang, reading update for the week ending 7/4/2026, and the booktube numbers tag, and 2026 and the 2026 Big Book Summer Reading Challenge. So here is Riker the reindeer so far. I'm just a little ways into the body. So you really can't see much so far, but I am making some progress on Riker. Next, I want to talk about the video games I've been playing. Mainly, I've been playing Tamagotchi Life, Living the Dream. 2 of my characters had another baby. The 5th, born on the island. As with all the other babies, the way this game does it is that the baby grows into an adult in about 5 minutes. So I now have 21 me on the island, 16 that I created, 5 which were born to the me that I created. I do have a couple that I wanted to get married. Well, one wanted to propose to the other, but there's many games you need to do so that they can get married, and I unfortunately failed on the last one, so they didn't get married. Hopefully next time I'll succeed. Gives you 3 times. If you don't succeed after 3, they get married anyway. But I would have been happy if I was able to get them married. I played some of Little Knots. Talked about that before. You're a diver. You're cleaning up human refuse and invasive species. And I played a little bit of wildflowers. Talked about that one a lot in the past too. Still fun, but maybe coming to a point in the not too distant future. I won't be playing anymore unless they have a decent quest, a decent thing that I need to accomplish. But even if I stop playing, I certainly got my money's worth. Next, I want to talk about the music I listen to. I listen to Cat's Eye. Then on Spotify, I listened to a mix that it made for me called Women of Rock Mix. I listened to Violet Grohl, Heart, Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, Patti Smith, Stevie Nicks, Pat Benatar, Hole, The Runaways, Blondie, Wolf Alice, Alanis Morissette, Big Brother and the Holding Company. Many of those groups, individuals were ones that I liked a lot in my younger years, and I still like them now. Just don't listen very much to them. I also listen to The Who, Blue Oyster Cult, AC/DC. There's other stuff too I just can't remember because they're in playlists, with the exception of Cat's Eye. Next, I want to talk about some other things going on in my life. We do have some road work being done in the street that we live on and a couple of side roads off it. It's some of the road work being done right in front of our house. So that did disrupt the week a little bit. That was done on Wednesday and Thursday. They're putting in new pavements. They were digging up the old pavement, so now there's just dirt, gravel road at the moment. But I still did go out to eat a few times. I met up with my friend to eat out on Thursday. Had to meet at a different place than we normally do because I couldn't get there at a normal time because of the road work. The one thing I didn't get to do was go for a walk at the mall. That just didn't work out. Other than that, I've been watching some WNBA games. I've been watching some World Cup games. They are currently, they were just completed their quarterfinals. And want to watch all those. I got a couple that are recorded I still got to watch, but want to watch all those and the remaining games. Not that there's many remaining games, but I would like to watch the remaining ones. The World Cup made me realize how quickly time goes by because there was a star player for France. His name I think is Zinedine Zidane, and he led France to a World Cup title, and France won World Cup titles in 2018 and prior to that in 1998. And I couldn't believe that, I had to believe that the World Cup title that I saw Zidane lead France to had to be in 2018, but I looked it up. In fact, it was in 1998, which was 28 years ago, and it was just hard to believe that so much time had passed. Of course, the World Cup is only every 4 years, but still, seemed like it couldn't have been 28 years, seemed like it had to be much more recently. Another observation I've made recently related to my reading. Reading was something that it seemed to slow down time for me, not in a bad way, not because it was boring, but in a good way. It seemed to fill in the time. Everything else seemed to go by fast, but recently I've realized that even reading seems to go by fast, so there's nothing that slows down for me. Everything's just going by fast, and that's a little saddening because I got less and less time left. But the alternative is, I think, to just do nothing and be bored, and I don't want to do that either. Slow down time that way. I would be interested in knowing how your reading week went. Music you're listening to, watching the World Cup or whatever. If you'd like to let me know, please add a comment. If you can't think of anything else to comment, please add an emoji of your choice. I hope you have a wonderful reading week. I hope you have a wonderful week in general. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Please subscribe. Please hit the bell to get notified when I upload future videos.